I think that's really valid, though, because literally what is the internet if not AI and penises?
Oh, Christ. That's gonna be the pull quote now, don't you?
Yeah, and I stand by it. Welcome to Wow True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We're your one-stop internet culture shop, here to dissect what's going viral, why we care, and how this might affect our real human lives. I honestly don't have anything funny today. I'm Isabel.
And I'm Amanda. I don't know, I wanted to talk about this at some point, but I'm Amanda, and I got bullied by Martin Shkreli on the internet. Anyone could be famous on the internet, so why not me?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in like a month because we had that interstitial fiction episode. Thanks to the people for being flexible. I think Isabel and I both separately have had like crazy months and things are hard, but you got fiction out of it, so good for you. But since we last spoke, dear Craig, I was bullied on the internet by Martin Shkreli.
That was like a lot. That was actually really funny. I mean, like,
yeah.
like not like, you know what I mean? Like conceptually funny. Like, I don't love this for you, but it's very funny.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really talked about internet harassment on the podcast much before out of fear of like, I don't know,
More
like
internet harassment?
Yeah, but then I'm like, no one who's harassing me listens to the podcast, and I do think it's genuinely interesting now that I'm in a space where I'm not like actively feeling threatened. But because some other shit has happened in the past that's like objectively horrifying, but this current thing was just very funny because I was like, why is it Martin Shkreli? Basically what I did was I wrote an essay about how Mark Andreessen, who's like a billionaire venture capitalist, put out this like manifesto about like growing tech at all costs. And I was like, hey guys, what about like people? What if maybe tech growing at all costs is actually bad? And then of course it made a bunch of the tech bros angry, including Martin Shkreli, who then was like posting pictures of me being like, this is the writer on that piece. And I'm like, what are you trying to say? I think that's a nice picture of me.
I feel like what was really funny about this is that, like, a lot of them are blocked. Like, so it's just them, like, isn't this, like, a lot of people you have blocked? So it's, like,
or people that have blocked me.
Angry at each other?
Like,
or people who have blocked you. Yeah, so it's, like...
Like, there were Gawker articles in, like, 2015 about, like, LOL, Mark Andreessen blocked me. Like, he just blocks everyone. So,
right,
like,
so it's like...
I've been blocked by him for, like, years.
Right, so, like, the fact that, like, people are getting angry at you, but, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's funny that they're getting angry about you, but, like, they can't see you.
Yeah. Also,
because it's like, are we arguing about a ghost? Like, you know?
I'm a ghost. Do you want to explain to the class who Martin Shkreli is?
Oh god, I honestly forget who he is because there's so many boys.
So this man used to run a pharmaceutical startup, and basically he like jacked up the prices of like very essential medicines by like 7,000%. And then
yeah, I think the one that people really remember is he was the insulin one, right?
Yeah, or I think
he was the guy like jacked up the insulin prices, and people were like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, like he was literally like, you know how we make money? We take affordable medication and make it unaffordable. So then he eventually went to prison for fraud for like 7 years. He's known as one of the most hated men in America and the pharma bro. Like, there are literally articles that are like, the most hated man in America, Martin Shkreli, and this man is bullying me on Twitter.
I don't know why he's on, like, he shouldn't be able to do that. Like, be on Twitter, I mean.
Well, he got out of prison and I think is on, like, house arrest now. I don't know, but... It's just funny because, like, in those situations, like, I don't... Like, you have to be the bigger person and, like, not actually respond and instead just, like, laugh about it on your podcast with your podcast co-host. But, like, I feel like when he was posting a picture of me, maybe this is, like, my own insecurity, but I was like, is he, like, calling me fat? And then my response to that is like, you know what, man? Like, I'd lose weight, too, if I were in prison for 7 years. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just very much like what are you trying to achieve with this? And also, like, buddy, think about your own problems.
I'm like, sorry that I, like, naturally have
life.
a different body type than you, but at least I didn't do fraud.
It's like, sorry that I'm not in prison, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, prison seems like a pretty easy place to lose weight, but, you know, I don't want to go there. And I also don't need to lose weight, like, but, you know.
I don't even know if he was commenting on your... I feel like this is just, like, a typical, like, weird internet like tech asshole thing where it's just like, look at that woman. She looks like she sucks.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
I'm
just
like,
kind of like, buddy, what are you trying to prove? Like, it's not, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's not even like a weight thing. It's just like a, haha, she looks like that. Because it'll happen to any woman.
no, yeah, and I mean, this is just being a woman on the internet, but I'm like,
Right.
and like he's
But like, what are you trying to...
specifically using like my profile picture on Twitter, and I'm like,
It's
obviously,
like, yeah, that's already there.
like I've chosen
It's
this
a good
picture
picture.
of myself as my profile picture on Twitter because I think it's a good picture of me. So like, what are you trying to say?
He just wants you to have a different profile picture, man. I don't know what to tell you. This reminds me of how, like, on Tumblr, you can send, like, anonymous hate mail to people's inboxes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's truly, like, the worst way to harass someone, because you're essentially giving the other guy all the power to respond and to post.
Yeah.
This feels similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my goal in sharing this is. I just think it's like being on the internet's fucking weird, and sometimes you get harassed by a guy who like went to prison for fraud and you're just like, bro, like
I await the day that you have the cybersmith in your replies.
who's that?
Do you know about the cybersmith?
No.
Oh, okay. So the cybersmith. Let me just double check to make sure that I'm getting his name right, because I would not want to slander anyone else with these crimes that I'm about to say.
Damn.
Okay, so the cybersmith, or like cybersmith. So his other name is, he is known on the internet as Human Pet Guy.
Oh, right,
you? Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, for the, people who are not longtime listeners, Human Pet Guy is a guy who was on first... He's on a lot of different social media now, actually, but he was first known for being on Tumblr, where he had a post about how he really wanted a human pet, and kept just doubling down on it. And now every time he replies to anything, everyone's like, oh fuck, it's the Human Pet Guy. And if he agrees with your statement, it's like, oh god, the Human Pet Guy agrees with my statement. And then he went over to Twitter, and nobody on Twitter knew him as Human Pet Guy. Right?
Oh.
Because it was like, oh, new person here who we've never seen his previous posts. And then people started to realize, oh god, the Human Pet Guy is here again.
Yeah,
anyway, so
I
I
feel
wait the
like...
day that he's in your DMs.
I think you told me about this on Island 1, and it's a time when I'm deliberately trying to be offline, and then you tell me about crimes.
I'm sorry, I just really thought you needed to know about Human Pet Guy.
No, I did. You know, equal crimes, Human Pet Guy, and, like, jacking up the prices of life-saving pharmaceuticals by 7,000%.
Right, completely equivalent.
Anyway, speaking of crimes, Omegle got shut down.
Oh no. Is this for crimes, perhaps?
I mean, it's for settlement for, alleged crimes, which I'm led to err on the side of, I don't think we need to say alleged, because we all went on Omegle when we were kids, and we all saw some penises.
There really were penises on Omegle.
So, for people, mostly my mom, I'm just like, you know, our audience, some people don't know what Omegle is. Omegle was a chat site that also had video and text chat, where it would just pair you with a random person. And the idea behind it was like, oh, you can like connect with strangers, and it's like so fun to like use the internet to like talk to someone who's in like Finland or whatever about like their day at school. But of course it's the internet, so people use it for bad, and then once they put in a video feature, you just kind of had like a bunch of dudes jerking off, and then you're like 12 at your friend's house, and you're like, haha, let's go on Omegle, and then they're all like, haha, it's a penis, and then you're like, I'm 12 and I'm afraid of penises. Speaking from personal experience here.
See, I actually never really saw that many penises because I very intelligently turned off the photo aspect of it because I was like, I don't want to see a penis.
Well, yeah, but like, I feel like my friends when I was 12 were like, ha ha ha, what if we see a penis? And I was like, I don't want to see a man doing things with his body.
Yeah. I feel like my weirdest Omegle experience from when I was a teenager was when somebody like tried really, like I was like 14, I was like 13 or 14, and someone was really trying really hard to like troll about like I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh, no.
Sorry, that got like dark, but it was like, you know, it was like the way that people in retrospect as an adult, I can see that this dude was just kind of like doing like a bit, if that makes sense, or just like a I'm so depressed and here are all my problems. And
Yeah.
me 13 like kind of a nice kid. Like I was 13 or 14. Kind of nice, very earnestly responding to the point where he was like, "All right, I can't do this anymore, man. I was trying to do a thing, and I was trying to make you feel bad, and now I feel bad."
I feel like it's like,
I was just like, "Okay, bye forever."
Imagine you're like 30 and you're like talking about your problems with like you have a dead-end job and you don't have enough money and your wife divorced you and like she got custody of the kids, and then it's like, I'm 13.
I'm 13 and literally here.
My problems are that the boy from school doesn't like me.
My problems are that I am experiencing math homework. That was my one weird Omegle experience where I got someone to shame themselves, to feel ashamed for trying to troll me. Because I just could not get it.
In a lot of internet spaces around that time, people would say ASL, which is like age, sex, location. Mm-hmm. And like the first time I encountered it, I thought that I was being called an asshole. I feel like I've said this on the podcast before. I was playing online Pictionary with my cousins. And then people would say ASL, and I was like, stop calling me an asshole. And then I went into a room where there were only 2 people, and I was like, let's play online Pictionary. And they were like, stop, we're trying to cyber. And I was like, someone tell me what cybering means. And no one would tell me what it meant. And then years later, I was like, oh, I get it now. But damn, imagine, like, why are you doing sex things in the online Pictionary game?
Yeah, of all places, that feels very similar to trying to cyber in Neopets.
Did people
You know what I mean?
It's like how people like dated in Club Penguin.
I don't think you can.
I think my best Omegle interaction and like very wholesome was, I feel like at one point I just went on and I was like, do you play Club Penguin? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, let's be friends. And they were like, okay. And then we were friends on Club Penguin.
Wait, that's so wholesome.
Yeah. But anyway.
That's like really good, actually.
I mean,
no notes.
We're kind of reminiscing about Omegle, like, haha, these funny experiences we had. But, you know, when you have impressionable young people, and then there's, like, men that are like, I want to show my penis to a minor. Like, that is
Yeah, like, this shouldn't, like, Omegle shouldn't have existed. That shouldn't have existed. Like, Omegle is an artifact of the internet from before we, like, figured out the fact that if anyone can see anything, a lot of that is going to be children seeing pornography. Yeah. But it was like, do you know what I mean? Where like I feel like there was actually like a huge time period of the internet where like basically everybody had access, but nobody had really figured out how to curate that access. And I'm not saying that like like the current corporate state of the web is better, but I do think it's less likely if a child, are going to see a penis, where it's like, when I was like, your boy was going on 4chan. Let me, it's fine.
No, literally, I think my first exposure to, like, what sex was I would be, like, on websites that were, like, copy and paste this, like, fun, glittery text into your AIM profile, like, extremely benign internet things. And then they would have ads that are, like, hot singles in your area that want to fuck. And I was like, what is that? But I was smart enough that I was like, I'm not going to click on that because I don't want to fuck hot singles in my area. I'm 8. But it's like, it was like I was trying to make like glittery text for my AIM away message, and it was like sex.
Yeah, there really were a lot of those banners. I think if you still go on like 4chan and stuff, there's still those banners around.
Yeah, hot singles still be wanting to fuck.
Yo, hot singles, they are still in your area.
The hot singles have never left your area. But
my God, they're here to this day.
Damn, we're having too much fun, and now we have to ruin it. But basically, the reason Omegle shut down was because there was a lawsuit filed by a woman who was the victim of sex trafficking on Omegle when she was a child, and really terrible stuff that I could very clearly see happening given what we know about Omegle. It's also crazy that like this is happening in like 2023, but I guess like you can still kind of.
Why did it take this long though?
Like, yeah, I don't know, but basically what happened was that as part of a settlement of this like $22 million lawsuit, I don't know how much was actually paid. It's just described as a $22 million lawsuit. Part of the settlement was that they had to shut down Omegle. So then the founder, Leif K. Brooks, what a name.
That's great.
He basically just kind of like waxed poetic about like how he was like abused as a child, and like talking to people on the internet helped him like see that there was a world beyond like what was happening to him at home and blah blah blah. And then how like there are people that have gotten like married on Omegle, and virtually every tool can be used for good or evil, quoting from his thing. And that is especially true of communication tools due to their innate flexibility. When they say Omegle shouldn't exist, they are really saying that you shouldn't be allowed to use it, that you shouldn't be allowed to meet random people online. That ideal is anathema to the ideals I cherish, specifically to the bedrock principle of a free society that when restrictions are imposed to prevent crime, the burden of those restrictions must not be targeted at innocent victims or potential victims of crime. So he's basically saying that just because, like, teens can be, like, sex trafficked doesn't mean that teens shouldn't be allowed to use Omegle.
Like, I kind of see his argument, but I also kind of see the other argument, which is that, like, the amount of guys who want to show children their penis is too damn high.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know. I mean, I really feel, like, in the middle about this, because on one hand, like, I don't think Omegle should have existed. Like, it's wild that, like, I mean, I was just a very goody two-shoes, scaredy cat kid, and I was like, no, I shouldn't be seeing a penis on the internet, but, like, it would be so easy to be a child and just, like, go talk to a man who's, like, jerking off, and if you're not, like, it's just very easy to end up in these really harmful situations.
On the other hand, it's bad if the children see a penis. However, a lot of the bills that are based around what if the children don't see a penis suck shit for internet censorship reasons.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I feel very concerned about legislation like the Kids Online Safety Act, which, I mean, when you say that, it sounds horrible because it's like, that's why they name the bills.
Don't you want the children to be safe? But then, like, if you actually look at the legislation, it's like, wow, this fucks over sex workers.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically, like, everything on the internet, but...
Yeah.
But, I mean, the thing with the Kids Online Safety Act is that a lot of these bills want it to be so that when you go on the internet, when you go on certain websites, you have to validate your age. And we're not talking about, like, a checkbox, I am 13. We're talking about, like using, like, ID verification stuff to, like, put in your state ID or, like, do biometric stuff to, like, verify your age. And this is already happening. I think we've talked on the podcast before. There's, like, several states where you can no longer access Pornhub there because the Pornhub people decided to take down the site in those states because if you, like, legally, they would have to take people's, like, government identification. And it's kind of weird to have to, like, give your government ID to, like, see porn. And there's a lot of ways where, I mean, like, cyber attacks happen all the time. Like, nothing you really say on the internet is, or nothing you really do on the internet isn't going to come back to haunt you. So it's like, just let people do their thing in peace. I don't know, man. But it's hard because if you want to prevent kids from getting on certain websites, you have to be able to tell that they're kids. And if you can tell that someone is a kid, then you also have to be able to tell that they're an adult. And another thing about this bill that is very harmful is that individual state attorneys general can decide what under the law qualifies as quote-unquote harmful content that needs to be censored. And we're in a time when there are so many, like, far-right legislators that are trying to, like, legislate trans people and queer people out of existence. And it's like, this is very, very possible to make it so that, like, a queer teen in Texas can't access the website of the Trevor Project or something.
I don't know if we have a conclusion here. It's just like,
On one hand, I think it's kind of like we all have kind of fun nostalgia Omegle stories, or perhaps terrifying Omegle stories, which, I mean, yeah.
I have an Omegle story from, like, 2 years ago, because I did go check out if Omegle still existed.
Love this for
Which
you.
is why I wasn't super surprised that it shut down recently. Otherwise, I would have been like, damn, that thing's still up. But it had been up 2 years ago. You know when it's, like, the pandemic?
I know that
bored.
feel, bro.
You know that feel. I did edit some guy's Tinder profile over Omegle, and I think that was the one good thing I did on Omegle.
The one good thing I did on Omegle was make a friend on Club Penguin.
This is extremely in character for you. Yeah, I don't know. I have, like, mixed feelings about, like, either saying it's a good thing that Omegle's going down or it's a bad thing. More just kind of like it feels like they're putting, like, an artifact of the internet, like, they're shooting it out back, if that makes sense. Where it's like, this has no place in our new society.
Yeah, and I think in
You know what I
their
mean? Like,
defense,
that's...
according
Mhm.
to the statement, which I think it's worth reading, if you just go to the Omegle website, it just kind of has the statement from the founder, but like they have been like using AI for content moderation, which I do think in cases like this it is good because AI can recognize that's a penis and then be like, no. And human moderation can't really do that. And also, I think that a lot of the working conditions that human moderators work under are really harmful and bad. So, like, if an AI can be like, that's a penis, then, it's a good use of AI.
I feel like we talk a lot about AI and penises. Because I'm thinking now about like our Snapchat episode.
I think that's really valid, though, because literally, what is the internet if not AI and penises?
Oh Christ! That's gonna be the pull quote now, don't you?
Yeah, and I stand by it. Speaking of a website where you can only post penises if they're artful enough, Tumblr.
Tumblr. I believe that it's like, okay, you know that one meme where Danny DeVito is like, "Everyone's dying, bitch. Let's get you some fruit."
Yeah.
Tumblr is always dying, bitch. Let's get you some fruit. Tumblr is dying again. What's actually happening here is Tumblr is downsizing the Tumblr team. Well, Automatic is downsizing the Tumblr team, and it's reallocating the majority of its workers to other Automatic products.
So Automatic, the parent company of Tumblr, like they also own like WordPress and stuff like that. Yeah, they were just like, you know what? Tumblr costs $30 million a year to run. We are losing money. We gotta end this. So they're basically just like taking everyone who isn't in like core functionality roles and moving them to other things.
Which is, honestly, I'm not really mad about, because I think in the last year they've tried a lot of different shit to make Tumblr more attractive to other people who are not the core user base, and it hasn't really worked. So I think scaling back to just focus in on what people like about Tumblr is not necessarily a bad thing. The other thing is that I think that it's not going to die immediately if it does die. And it's also, Tumblr's been on its deathbed for like a decade. Like, this is just a return to the norm, man.
Can I talk about the frustrating journalism experience I had with this?
Please do.
So, this is just behind the scenes on what I deal with all day. A couple weeks ago, I get a message on Signal, like an anonymous tip thing, that's like, Tumblr is doing massive reorganization and significantly downsizing its staff. Do you want to see this memo? And I was like, hell yeah. And then they were like, wait, can I get sued? And I was like, I mean, like, maybe, but like, not really. Like, my job is to like protect sources. And that's why I'm talking about this conversation on my podcast. But I mean, it's like I'm not giving it identifying information about this person. It's fine. But yeah, and then they just got spooked and they were like, I'm gonna get in trouble, and they deleted their Signal, and I was like, well, cool. Cool, great, nice. And I've been like trying to chase down that tip for weeks. And then on, I believe, Wednesday, I see a post from someone I follow on Twitter who was a design director at Tumblr, and she was like, well, I lost my job, like, any leads, please help. And I was like, it's happening. And then I go and I email Tumblr, and I'm like, hey guys, are you doing layoffs? And they were like, no. And I was like, huh. And then the next day, this memo that I guess this person told me about weeks ago and then was like, haha, JK, and deleted their Signal, then gets leaked to people and starts circulating on Tumblr. And then Andy Bio, who's like a big tech commentary guy, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Then he posts it, and then the tech people get a hold of it. And then I come and I see it, and I'm like, well, fuck. Tumblr just told me they're not doing layoffs. But what I think is, to give Tumblr credit, I do think it's genuinely, like, hats off to them for giving people other jobs within the same company instead of just laying them off. But
yeah, honestly, like, I think Tumblr is doing it right. Like, I mean, well, Automatic is doing it right, where basically the way it works is that people who are getting taken off Tumblr they get to rank what else they want to work on, and then they simply go and work on it. Well, I mean, it's more complicated than that, but they're just not laying people off. From the outside, it was very much a classic Tumblr is shutting down again, oh god experience. where the leaked documents started circulating. And then what's interesting here is that the CEO started like talking on Tumblr and answering asks, which is
Yeah.
like, oh, he's back in the building again.
And here's what I'm pissed about as a journalist is I had this information, but I didn't post it because I was like, I can't verify it. I'm not going to post unverified information. But then The Verge posts it, and they're just like, haha, hey guys, we're The Verge. Saw this memo. Is it real? LOL, text me. Which, like,
Have you just considered lying more? Like, you could just do that.
I mean, I think I would get in a lot of trouble at work if I did that. But because they posted that, then Matt Mullenweg, like, took the CEO of Tumblr, Matt Mullenweg, like, took the post and, like, linked it on his Tumblr and was like, hey, guys, I'm going to answer questions about this now. And I'm like...
So, like, it kind of shook him out. Like, it kind of made it happen.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. I'm just personally mad about it. It's fine.
So this sounds like a you problem, my man.
Yeah. It's just journalism's so frustrating because you can be, like, trying to figure something out for weeks, and then The Verge is just like, hey guys, is this real? LOL, haha. No shade to The Verge. The Verge is great. I'm just bitter.
On the bright side, we got a Tumblr 2 Discord server out of it.
Yeah, people are kind of freaking out about, like, Tumblr's gonna shut down, but, like,
yeah, but nowhere... people do this every time.
Yeah, like, nowhere has that been the case.
But, like, you know, it only takes once, right? Like, at some point, Tumblr will shut down. This is the truth of the universe. Everything dies. Mm-hmm. Until then, we will simply keep freaking out about Tumblr shutting down. I also do think it's just fun to freak out about Tumblr shutting down, because it happens, like, pretty much on a regular, like, bi-yearly basis. By this, I mean twice a year, and not every 2 years.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I think that the Q&A with Matt Mullenweg was kind of interesting in that, like, he talked a bit about the Post Plus implosion, which we did an episode about, where Tumblr tried doing a subscription product, and then everyone was like, no! And then just, like, harassed people, which was kind of weird.
Tumblr will harass anyone for anything. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, it's so interesting that the way Tumblr is, like, we joke about this, but, like, literally the way that the people are makes it impossible to monetize.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's well, I also think it's just kind of like a lot of the people on Tumblr just don't have any money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of teens, but then, I don't know, then you think, like, Roblox can monetize, like, Fortnite, whatever. I don't know. But those are, like, video games, and I guess it's different than a social network.
I think also what it is that people aren't used to paying for social media.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you think about it, you are the product on social media that is being monetized because you're getting sold to advertisers. The problem with Tumblr is that it's just really bad at that. And nobody wants to advertise to us.
Yeah, the people that want to advertise on Tumblr are the make you a lord people.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy Make You a Lord.
No, yeah, you told me about that, and I was like, this is delightful.
I think it's really funny. Yeah, I don't know, because, like, but then I also think Tumblr's kind of an interesting experiment in if social media can be monetized in different ways, and so far it's been a failure. I also think that, like, the thing that Tumblr did wrong is that they rolled out too many money things at once, and it made them actually kind of hard to get to.
It's just, like, really interesting how stuff like sending people crabs sold better than creator subscriptions.
Right, because it's like, I mean, well, of course it did. Like, I don't, like, why would I subscribe to a creator on Tumblr?
Yeah, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense why they did that, because, like, you have so many Tumblr creators that are like, subscribe to my Patreon, so obviously Tumblr is going to want to be like, what if they subscribe on Tumblr and then we get a cut of that money instead of Patreon? But it just, like, didn't work because Tumblr people are so, like, allergic to Tumblr trying to make money. But then, like, the whole Post Plus thing was so interesting because I was like, why is it okay for a creator to monetize on Patreon but not on Tumblr? And it's because of the culture of Tumblr.
Yeah, it's culture of Tumblr. And also, like, I think, like, the thing is, like, Tumblr people want to spend money to inflict things on other people. Like, crabs is, like, you're playing a game with your friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, sending crabs to your friends is like sending a gift, and it's like playing a game. They don't really want to spend money on getting something that they feel like they were already getting for free.
Yeah.
And the other thing here is that I think there was a real lack of trust at the beginning of whether Tumblr would be a safe place to put your money, if that makes sense, where it's like, can I give them my financial data, right? Like, Tumblr has had just like a shitty track record of many things.
Yeah.
And because of that, there was very much like at the beginning, like a very big hesitancy toward like, can I put my money in here to begin with? And so overcoming that hurdle was also, I think, something that a lot of websites don't usually have. And that just comes with Tumblr having a history.
Yeah, even though with that they were taking money via Stripe, but I guess people still just were like, no, it's Tumblr.
I just don't, I mean, like, yeah, but like even I was like, I don't trust Tumblr not to have fucked something up for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is a website where, like, every other day someone gets hacked and starts posting Ray-Bans ads.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, even if it's like a third-party site that's a verified site, I don't know. On that note, do you want to hear what is in this Tumblr 2.0 Discord server?
Yes, and I also find it interesting that Tumblr is now doing the same thing that Twitter was doing, in which people just kind of, like, try to migrate somewhere and it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, Tumblr does this every 6 months. People have, like, a bunch of other alternatives. I honestly don't think there's a good Tumblr alternative yet. Yeah. Like, I think none of the social medias that were supposed to take off took off. And also, I think people are still on Twitter. That's my take. So, this Tumblr 2.0 Discord server, thanks to, I think Andromeda found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to Andromeda for sending this to us in the Discord. Join our Discord, join our Patreon. This is a plug for our Patreon now.
Join our Discord, where I spent like half an hour last night talking about romance novels instead of like prepping for recording. But then I did do the recording prep, so we're good.
So what I think is interesting about this Discord is that everyone has the capacity, everyone has the capability to make channels.
In the Tumblr Discord?
Yeah.
No.
So the thing is, like, my other theory here is that this is just one of many Tumblr 2.0 Discords that are going to be created in the next, or have been created in the next, like, yesterday through, like, a couple days ago through, like, the next week. This one has about 300 people in it. Big for Discord, small for Tumblr. But
no,
also,
those are
like,
all of Tumblr's users. Tumblr. There's only 300
That's
people
all
left.
Of Tumblr's users. Yeah, exactly. All 300 of us. And I just want to read out some of the names of these channels because I think they're good.
Oh,
we have the classic Ball Pit, Tumblr University, you know, as we should. There is OO.
OO.
There is Violence. There is just the letter A many times.
Is Violence just people posting, like, Supernatural?
No, it's people posting stuff like memes where it says, human sacrifice is good, and if we do enough of it, we'll be safe forever. And, hey girl, you smell that? Me neither. Start decomposing. And also giving tips about how to get blood out of clothes.
Probably like hydrogen peroxide, I don't know.
Yeah, they're talking about peroxide. It's not actually that edgy.
That's honestly kind of a common problem given that, like, half of the population, I guess less, menstruates.
The amount of blood I have gotten out of clothing, we are simply not going to talk about. You know, is it because I tell people to kill other people all the time, or is it because I've got the girl parts? Don't worry about it. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, they have a channel for complex polyhedral GIFs.
Nice.
There's one for bald, just bald. And this one has edits of Walter White in it.
Why?
Because, you know, he's bald. There's one that's called Fake Discourse, which is for having discourse, but it's fake. And I like that Tumblr has come around to, we don't do discourse anymore. We do parodies of discourse.
I like it.
There's one that's just hi, where everyone just says hi. There's one for MILF posting. Someone posted GLaDOS in there from Portal.
Oh no.
Which, sure, I guess. The reason I'm telling you about this is because I actually think this is a really good cross-section of what being on Tumblr is like and what people think, what people are posting on Tumblr. It's so stupid. There's one called Celibacy, and I was hoping that it was like celibacy and eels, but it is just celibacy. And it's people posting the gif of, I think it's BTS was the word celibacy overlaid over it.
I did see a post on Tumblr, which I'm, like, not on Tumblr that much, but I was on the other day because I was, like, writing about it, and the only people I follow are, like, you, Jock, and Allison, and, like...
I'm so fucking sorry. You're getting such a bad view of Tumblr from it. And also of, like, my mental health.
But I think one of you reblogged a post that was about someone saying that, like, the ways that their relatives have been, like, brought back from the Fox News world has been Wordle and BTS.
Oh yeah, I did. That was me.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Honestly, you guys are posting great stuff. Love my
thank
Tumblr
God.
experience where I'm just following the three of you.
Just 3 people, and we reblog things in a circle from each other.
God. Also, I had like DM'd Matt Mullenweg on Twitter because he follows me there, and when I was trying to like get information about if Tumblr was doing layoffs or whatever, and then he DM'd me back and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing a Q&A now. Like, let me know what your Tumblr username is so I can like make sure I answer your question." And I'm like, my Tumblr is Ralts in a hat. The icon is Ralts. I have like 2 followers because I deleted my real Tumblr, RIP, and made a new one just to like fuck around for work reasons. My only post on there is, "Hi, Isabel." And then I'm just like, "Here, Matt Mullenweg, I'm Ralts in a hat."
Wait, I love this. Matt Mullenweg knows my name now. Maybe.
Yeah, also, so the article I posted was like, "Tumblr will run on a skeleton crew as parent company automatic absorb staff." And then he responded to the TechCrunch tweet and was like, "We're only a skeleton crew on Halloween." And I was like, damn.
That's so edgy.
Okay, Matt Mullenweg.
Can I keep reading off of these channel
Oh, yes,
names?
please.
So there's one called Dysfunctional Family Roleplay. And people in here are discussing having a dysfunctional family roleplay. Right underneath that is King of England predictions. And it is just people posting dates. And I'm pretty sure that this is just the dates they think the King of England is going to die.
Remember when the Queen of England died? That was a...
Yo,
oof.
remember when Sans Undertale killed the Queen of England?
Wait, what?
No, don't worry about
Did
it.
Sans Undertale do something on that day?
No, there was like this is stupid. There was like a Reagan from Mob Psycho 100 and Sans. There was like a poll, and it happened the same day that the Queen of England died, and so people were it's stupid. That's all I'm gonna get into here. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you're Craig.
Yeah, I'm Craig.
What else? Oh, there's one where they're counting to 1,000, and it's just people counting to 1,000.
No,
because they
this
already
is-
got to
okay.
100, so they renamed it.
When we had, what's his name, on the podcast, who does, like, the Rat Verified and, like, Tiny Snake comics, I know him from a meme group called Rach Aesthetics. Rach as in Rachel. It was a person named Rachel, I don't know. And it was, like, a post-aesthetics offshoot, except that this group has been active for, like, not, like, active, but, like, people post in it every once in a while for the last, like, 8 years at this point. And there was a post in there that was count to 42069. And it was
did they get
going
there?
on for years. I feel like we were in like the 20,000s, but then the person who made the post deleted their Facebook, and then we had to start over.
You had to start over? This is devastating. Okay, this is where Isabel goes on a tangent. So, contextually, a couple weeks ago, me and the boys were doing a bagel scavenger hunt in New York, which I truly went on like a journey, a life experience. The point being that me and our editor, hi David, were in a group together, and then along with our other friend Jenny. Jenny's not important to this, even though she's important to my life.
Jenny's great.
But
Shout out to Jenny.
Jenny's great. Yeah, but she's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that we were on the subway, and then somebody recognized David from a Facebook meme group. And it was, I forget if it was Post Aesthetics or Rach Aesthetics, but it was one of the two. But it was literally like a real life human comes up to David on the subway in New York, and it's like David Newtown from like Post Aesthetics or something. I was like, what
That's
the
so
fuck?
funny. I feel like that's like me on the island when I'm like, when I met Brian in person for the first time, and I was like, oh, it's Ultra Lord from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah. It's like, wow, he has a physical form.
Yeah, and then pan to a year later, me in a kayak, like crying with Brian. I was crying, Brian wasn't.
Crying with Ultra Lord from Jimmy Neutron, you know, an experience you can have only on the island.
We had a really traumatic kayaking experience. It was really windy. We got lost. This was right after a traumatic paddle boating experience.
Is it bad if I think it's funny that you guys got lost on a lake? 'Cause it wasn't a big lake.
But like, so
No, it's so valid that you guys got lost on the lake, because we also kind of got lost on the lake. But it's also kind of like, guys, it's a lake. What are we doing here?
it was really windy and we kept spinning in circles.
I mean, our issue was just that we did not know where to go.
Also, we were supposed to be following redacted, and then redacted just like left.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on with that. It's fine. We got ice cream after. It was fine.
Well, no, this was after the ice cream.
Oh, well, I can't help you with that. It's fine. You didn't get ice cream after. Suffer.
I got ice cream before.
Anyway, so that's Tumblr too. I'm probably going to leave the Discord server now that I know what it's about. But, you know, it was a fun half hour of my life.
Yeah, you know, good for them. This is like when AO3 went down and people made a fandom in the Down Detector comments.
That was really good, actually. But, like, okay, wait, actually something I want to talk about is, like, now that I'm thinking about it, because we're talking about Omegle and we're talking about Tumblr, and both of these being, like, an anonymous experience, if that makes sense, and also Discord's being an anonymous experience, because... Mm-hmm. But why Omegle is, like, disgusting, whereas, like, it's probably fine on Tumblr and on Discord, where it's, like, people actually build relationships and stuff. And I don't know, I have nothing to say here other than the longevity of a contact experience probably makes people act more regular. Except for the cybersmith.
I think maybe it's that, like, on Omegle, you are specifically in one-on-one situations, and on Tumblr and Discord, you're within a community where there's maybe more of a social contract to, like, not show people your penis without consent.
Right, like a one-on-one social interaction where you know you're never going to see this person again. Where it's like, so it's like, oh, it's almost like a micro encapsulation of the internet where, you know, like how people are more insane on the internet because everybody's fake. And that's not true. That's a real guy on the end. I don't know. I've been thinking about this because I joined another fandom Discord, and people got like really, really tight knit really fast in there, and I'm kind of just watching people like, y'all have met 2 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, I still have friends from Arctic Monkeys Tumblr.
Yeah, but I'm like, y'all have met 2 days ago.
It is really crazy when, like, I see, like, people that I'm still, like, Instagram and Facebook friends with from Arctic Monkeys Tumblr, like, getting married, and I'm like, damn, I remember when you were 14 and posting about how you thought you'd never have a boyfriend. Good for you.
It's like, hey, you got the boyfriend.
Yeah, and then now the married.
And now the married. And now the husband. You got anything else to say about Tumblr? Otherwise, I want to show you some Minnesota flags.
I guess the only other thing about, like, anonymity is, I was talking about this with my editor. I might write something about it, but a friend of mine, Sam from Podcast Music, Sam from Podcast Music.
Sam from podcasting, yeah.
He made a comment like, I would rather give someone my social security number than my Reddit username. And I think it's a really interesting phenomenon of, like, I think specifically people are, like, really weird about Reddit.
Yeah, that's because people on Reddit are all freaks, except when they're the only source of information on the internet.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe, like, do you think it's because people are, like, on porn subreddits?
Probably, but also I think it's just kind of like I don't give people my Tumblr username. And it's not like I have a lot of pornography on there either.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Whereas, strangely, on Reddit, you can.
Whereas, yeah, I guess maybe that is the difference. But it's also, like, I wouldn't give people my AO3 and I wouldn't give people my Tumblr unless you're already in the horrors.
Yeah, I mean...
You know what I mean? Like,
when I was being, like, more severely harassed on the internet, not the Martin Shkreli thing, which is, like, honestly kind of funny, it wasn't funny at the time, because you never know when the other shoe's gonna drop, but the other shoe didn't drop, so now it's funny. But I, like, deleted all of my Reddit comments, even though all my Reddit comments were, like, about, like, Pokemon Go, or, like, in r/kombucha.
The fact that there's an r/kombucha disgusts me.
I had a kombucha brewing phase, and I was pretty active on r/kombucha for a little bit.
That is completely unsurprising. You are that is entirely in character for you.
Yeah, I love...
I'm sorry, this is really funny to me.
No, this was... Oh, man, this was like... Okay, I had a kombucha phase...
Was this like a pandemic thing?
No, this was before the pandemic. Like...
Okay, I can't help you then.
Okay, the story of how I started drinking kombucha.
Yeah, I would actually love to hear this. Tell me about this. What the fuck?
So, do you know Jacob Gardenswartz? I don't mind saying his full name, because, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's relevant. So he's a journalist, and at the time I was working at Penn, and part of my job was, like, organizing events for students to, like, learn about creative careers or whatever. So I was like working this lunch event for seniors where recent alumni, such as my boy Jacob, came back and talked about like how they got their journalism jobs and like what life has been like after graduation, blah blah. And so one person, like a student, asked a question, which I think is a good question, which is like, as an early career journalist, how do you balance like trying to like get ahead versus having a work-life balance? And then this one girl was like, you know, I just don't have a work-life balance and I don't think I need to, and I'll have one later in life. And whew. And then my boy Jacob was like, actually, I disagree. I have a job and I also have a life. Good for Jacob. But I was so mad. Oh my God, I was really, really mad. And it was like 2 p.m. and I was like walking Jacob back to the train station and he was like...
How does this go to kombucha?
Well, so I was like, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to get like a really fancy latte. And he was like, I feel like you need to like be taken... Like, I feel like you need something calming because you're like pretty worked up about this. What about like a kombucha? And I was like, I've never had kombucha. And then I got a kombucha and I was like, hey, I like it.
But, you know, honestly, the end of that story was pretty regular.
Yeah, I don't know.
I swear we've talked about this the other day. I think we talked about this the other day when I had kombucha. Why are we talking about kombucha in 2023? Hey, what's wrong with this?
Because I was afraid of getting harassed on the internet, so I deleted all my comments on r/kombucha.
Right, yes, your r/kombucha. The fact that there's an r/kombucha is really funny to me.
No, it's like...
I know it's like a regular thing to exist, and it totally should exist. However, very funny.
Here is a quick related thing that isn't me talking about my friend Jacob giving me kombucha.
Sure, go for it.
I had an experience recently in which I really regretted that I deleted my Tumblr from back in the day. And this was that when I was like 16, I saw the band The Kills, and I took a picture with the singer Alison Mosshart. And then now in the year of our Lord 2024, I'm going to see The Kills again 12 years later. And I was like, oh, let me dig up that picture of me and Alison Mosshart. It's gone.
That's fucked, man.
I literally was like, I think it's possible that fan blogs had reblogged the picture of me and Alison Mosshart.
Right, because Alison Mosshart's there.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I go
you,
on
specifically you at 14?
Yes. But I was like, I'm going to go on FYeahAlisonMosshart.tumblr.com, go into the archives, go to like 2012 January and see if it's there. And I found pictures of like other people's fan photos from that concert and then not mine. And I just can't find that picture. And I'm like, damn.
Well, I can't help you in finding that picture, but if any of our listeners out there have a picture of Amanda with Alison Mosshart, please send it to us.
Anyway, you wanted to tell me about Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. For once in my life, I want to tell you about Minnesota, a state that I never think about.
I just read a book set in Minnesota, so...
Oh, so this is perfect timing. Yeah, the Minnesota State Emblems Redesign Commission has put out a call for redesigns for the state flag to the public. So I just wanted to share some of these photos with you because I think they're good. And by this I mean, I'm going to just send some stuff that people have submitted. And I was going to show you a TikTok
I'll
of it.
try to paint word pictures.
Yes.
I'm not an artist, just an idea guy.
It is just like somebody's screenshot that says.
That's beautiful. I like it.
I feel like just a screenshot. It is a blurry, shitty screen. Like not a screenshot. It's a photo of a screen.
Yeah, you can see like the dust specks that like this screen needs to be cleaned. I feel like it's very Duchampian. Minnesota. It's just damn. Is that okay? I know that's snow in the upper left corner, but it doesn't look like snow. There's also a muffin. There's a hockey player. It's like clip art, and it just says Minnesota.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm not going to pronounce that. It looks like it's like French or something.
Oh, this is perhaps the best submission.
It's just a picture of someone's dog.
Yeah, it's just somebody's dog.
I think that's great. I like it. I like it.
Okay, these are some of the ones that I just wanted to show you because it's just like
The dog one is my favorite now because while I personally appreciate like the weird artistry of the first one you sent me, we'll put these in the Discord. I just think like the dog has mass appeal, and I think
the
it's
dog has
funny.
so much.
It's funny to us, but also if you're like an old man, you're like, damn, that's a dog.
I also like that it's like a portrait mode photo. It's not like a landscape mode photo. Like it is literally a portrait mode photograph of somebody's like dog in a field that they have submitted as the new Minnesota state flag. The dog seems like it's having a great time in this field, so I actually think it's incredibly representative of Minnesota if this is a Minnesotan field.
Yeah, it's just like the dog's not looking at the camera, like he's just
It's
there.
not looking at the camera, it's just there.
It's like not very composed well. Like it's not really following the rule of thirds.
It's not a flag.
I want it so bad.
Anyway, so Minnesota, pick the correct choice. Pick the dog.
Oh man, I need to write about this.
That's all I wanted to share with you. I thought it was fairly important to your life and also to mine.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thrilled about it. And the last thing I want to say is Jock from Podcast bought a pink inflatable coffin, and they haven't inflated yet, but don't worry, I'm on the case. When Jock inflates that pink coffin, we are going to talk about it.
Like, I love, like, why did she buy that? I mean, I know why she bought it. It was a pink inflatable coffin, but...
I don't know, but I put Jock's Coffin Corner on the script, which I just kind of needed to address that.
No, yeah, I understand completely. Like, we do have to have Jock on to talk about the pink inflatable coffin. Hi, Jock. You're being conscripted into podcasts.
Oh no, I DM'd Jock last night and I was like, can you send me a voice memo about the coffin if you inflated it already? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay.
Bye, Jock. You are no longer being conscripted into podcasts.
No, we're gonna get that sweet voice memo.
But like, okay, like let me tie this all back to the beginning. Like, Jock is like one of my internet friends who I met on Tumblr.
No,
and
it's also
now she
weird.
has slept on my couch.
Like, I know Jock because she was friends with you on Tumblr.
Yeah, because like I know Jock from like it's. I guess what I'm saying is that like. Part of me kind of agrees with the Omegle guy who's like, yeah, you should be able to meet strangers on the internet because most of the strangers I've met on the internet have been good experiences and not penis.
But I think it's different because, like, I'm sure it's like you have information about Jock redacted screen name because you can see her Tumblr, you can see who she's interacting with. Maybe you had mutual
right, like,
internet friends who could say, like, yeah, she's chill.
No, yeah, like literally that's, I mean, what happened is that like, I think it's interesting because I think that in the absence of any other, like, knowledge about a person, you figure out whether to trust them or not based on, like, how much they're interacting with the subject matter that you're talking about. Because it's, like, if it's a fandom blog that seems, like, really rabid about this one guy in the media, then you're like, all right, nobody's gonna spend this much time faking an interest in this dude to, like, you know, like, there's easier ways to get victims. That being said, that's actually not always true. There's also, like, there's a whole, like, category of people that people get warned about because it's like, yo, this guy will go from fandom to fandom and then basically, like, groom people or something like that.
Oh,
like,
gross.
There are people out there where it's like, but then there's also, like, the counter network to that where people will be like, yeah, this dude exists and he sucks shit. Whereas, like, I don't know, I guess, like, me and Jock, for example, it was like, Jock started posting art and I was like, this art bangs, slaps, and fucks. And then one of us started bothering the other, and I think it was like one of those mutual like fic writer artist like circles of trust situation where it's like I make a thing, fan art happens, I make a thing again because the fan art happened, that sort of thing.
You know what? At this point, we've both spent about 2 weeks with Jock on a remote island, so I think
we have spent like we've spent 2 weeks of our life with Jock on an island,
and that's great.
Over the course of. And I guess that's what I'm saying is that's what the internet is for. On that note, sorry we talked about you for like 5 minutes, Jock. I hope you enjoyed this and is not cringe. Yeah, but I would just be surprised. Anyway, if you like this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. Thank you to all of our patrons, and shout out specifically to Zoe, Brea, Drama, Thea, Brian, Gabriel, Lada, Matt, Max, my sugar daddy Sam, and Aaron's husband. If you want your name in the above or on our Twitter header, slide right into our Patreon on patreon.com/wowtrue. Shout out to audio editors Allison Mills, who is in Japan right now. Give it up for Japan. And
Woo.
David Newtown, graphic designer and Canva Warlock, Eric Silver, who made our logo, Sam Reiser, who made our podcast music, and Tessa Farrow, who is transcribing our episodes. You can find us on Twitter as @WowTruePod and Instagram and Facebook as @WowTrue. Had your 15 seconds of internet fame? Slide right into our Twitter DMs and tell us about it. And if you want to see those photos of those state flags, you can look them up on the internet, but also you could join our Discord. And until next time, let's get weird on the internet.